Okay, so when you hear the word disability, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For so long, the go to story has been one of personal tragedy, right? Something to be pitied or something that needs to be fixed. But what if that entire way of thinking is just wrong? Today, we're going to dig into a really powerful shift in perspective, seeing disability not as an individual's problem, but as a challenge of human rights, and how we can design a world that actually works for everyone. Wow. I mean, just let that sink in for a moment. That's a quote from a woman named Ten Touch in Cambodia. After she was injured by a landmine, it wasn't just a physical injury. Her whole world fell apart. Her story just hits you with this truth. The real experience of disability, so often, is a story of being pushed to the margins, of being made incredibly vulnerable. And what happened to Ten Touch? Well, it's not an isolated thing. It's part of this really devastating cycle. You can see how it works here. It often starts with an impairment, but that leads to social exclusion. And once you're excluded, doors just slam shut. No school, no job, and that leads directly to poverty. But then poverty flips the script and makes you more likely to have an impairment, because of poor healthcare or unsafe conditions. It's this brutal, self-reinforcing trap, and millions of people are caught in it. Okay, so this gets us to the absolute heart of the matter. What's the real problem here? Is it the person's impairment? Is the problem in their body or in their mind? Or is it something else entirely? Answering this one question, folks, changes everything. It's the key that unlocks a whole new way of looking at this. So let's break this down. On one side, you've got the old way of thinking. You might hear it called the medical model. It basically says the person is the problem. They're a patient who needs to be cured, an object of pity who's defined by what's wrong with them. But now, look at the other side. This is the new view, the social and human rights model. And it flips the whole thing on its head. It says, nope, the problem isn't the person, the problem is the society around them. The person isn't a victim, they're a citizen, a rights holder. And the goal isn't to fix them, it's to fix the barriers in society that are holding them back. And this right here, this is the light bulb moment. The simple formula that puts it all into perspective. Impairment plus barriers equals disability. See, an impairment is just a condition affecting a person's body or mind. It only turns into a disability when that person runs up against a barrier in the world. Think about it. A person who uses a wheelchair has an impairment, but they're only disabled when they come to a building that only has stairs. The problem isn't the wheelchair, it's the lack of a ramp. Disability is created by society's failure to be accessible. And just so we're clear on the scale we're talking about, look at this number. Over 1 billion people worldwide live with a disability. Let that sink in. That's more than 1 out of every 8 people on this planet. This makes them the world's single largest minority group. So no, this is not some small niche issue. This is a massive global human rights issue, and getting it right affects all of us. Okay, so if we agree the problem is barriers, what's the fix? Well, it has a name. Disability Inclusive Development, or DID for short. And this isn't just a theory, it's a practical, hands-on game plan. It's all about systematically finding and tearing down those barriers, whether they're physical things, like stairs, or attitudes, like prejudice. And, critically, it's about making sure that people with disabilities are at the table, making decisions about their own communities. So how do you actually do this? The strategy is called the twin track approach, and it's actually pretty brilliant in its simplicity. Think of it like a bicycle. You need both wheels turning to get anywhere. The first wheel, track 1, is empowerment. This is direct support for individuals, like providing a wheelchair or skills training. The second wheel, track 2, is mainstreaming. This is the big picture stuff, making sure that our main systems, like schools and hospitals, are built to be inclusive from the get-go. You can't just do one. You absolutely need both working together to make real progress. And let's see what this looks like in the real world. This is a story from E.T. in Bangladesh. She had rheumatoid arthritis, and her local school just flat out refused to enroll her. They said it wasn't possible. But then an organization stepped in. They advocated for her. They worked on that mainstreaming track to remove that institutional barrier. And what happened? The school that said no changed its mind and said yes. Just like that. They removed one single barrier, and an entire future just opened up for her. And look at this case study from Kenya. It's just incredible. It shows the power of that twin track approach perfectly. Before this project, people said they felt like burdens, living in hopelessness. But then, the project helped them form self-help groups. That's the empowerment track. And it helped them get access to community resources. That's the mainstreaming track. And the after is just, wow. They're running businesses, forming, making an income. And that quote, I feel like any other man. That says everything. They broke that vicious cycle we talked about earlier. So this all leads to a really powerful, ultimate goal, an idea called universal design. And it's a real game changer. Instead of fixing problems later, like tacking a ramp onto a building as an afterthought, the idea is why not just design the building to be accessible for everyone from day one? Universal design is about creating things, products, environments, services that are just naturally usable by as many people as possible right out of the box. So you might be wondering, who really benefits from this? The answer is literally everyone. And you see it all the time without even realizing it. You know those sloped curbs at intersections? Originally designed for wheelchair users, but who else uses them? Parents with strollers, travelers pulling suitcases, delivery drivers with dollies. Everybody. Or think about closed captions on videos, made for people who are deaf, but now we all use them to watch videos on our phones in public. The point is, when you design for the full range of human ability, you just end up with a world that's better designed for all of us. So, I want to leave you with a question to take with you. We've talked about the obvious physical barriers, like stairs, but what about the ones you can't see, the invisible ones? I'm talking about attitudes, assumptions, policies. What barriers exist in your community, in your workplace? Or, and this is the tough one, what barriers might even exist in your own mind that prevent everyone from being able to participate fully? Because just seeing them, just recognizing they're there, that's the very first step to finally tearing them down.